Vajrabandhu's explanation of the magic show simile is that the sticks and twigs are the other powered natures. The non-existence of the elephants in the illusory appearance is the thoroughly established nature.
Is that clear? In Vajrabandhu?
Well, that's from, I got that from, I don't know, from Tsongkhapa. He quotes Vajrabandhu in the chapter where someone objects that the magic show illusion is inappropriate to show anything other than non-true existence. So, but he does, yeah, that's from a quote. I mean, I assume that's not from Tsongkhapa's paraphrasing of Vajrabandhu. He paraphrases it, then quotes the text, not another text.
It'd be good to check out.
Yeah. In fact, the world can be divided into three natures.
I would think that evidence for that, we would be able to find evidence for that in the sutra. But the sutra probably goes two ways. You know, there's the three natures of one phenomenon, and there's the dividing of everything that exists into the three natures, it being used in two different ways. And we may find that some people do it one way and some people do it the other way, and Geluk is doing it, not a combined version of both, but using both, right? They're explicitly setting forth both, which gets you into wondering what uncompounded space is, being a referent of a conceptual consciousness. Those are imaginary natures. Do they then they exist? They're existent. Therefore, what is their other powered nature? If the three natures can be positive, you see, using the division of all phenomena mode of the three natures, you will put uncompounded space in existent imaginary natures. Using the three natures of every phenomenon mode, then you have to ask, what is the other powered nature of space? What is of uncompounded space? What is the imaginary nature, the non-existent, important non-existent? And what is the thoroughly established one? The non-existent one clearly is, you know, it's just Dumajeki Nanka, Shejabeda, Jukbe Jukshir, Rangitsaniki Truba. So the non-existent imaginary nature, easy. Yonru, easy, right? Karasa. Dumajeki Nanka, Ranzadobe Shenshir, Rangitsaniki Trube Tongba, right? And an almost fuller way is to say, Ranzadobe Shenshir, Rangitsaniki Trube Tongbe Tongbani. And in translation, you'd probably eliminate one of the, you know. But it's that Dongbani, which is the Dongba, and Betsy did a good thing on showing how Dongbani and Dongba are often used interchangeably, both in Sanskrit and in Tibetan. You wouldn't expect it. And it creates quite a hassle like that. So that's easy. But what's the other powered nature of uncompounded space? Now, from looking at Xuanzang, having been to India for 15 years, is it?
Something.
Did a lot of study of Indian treatises, and at least as I know it, the text that he wrote based on his scholarship uses the treatises of 10 different Indian authors. And he has a section on the three natures and three non-natures, and within that, I think within that or somewhere, he addresses the problem of uncompounded space, which probably means they were concerned about it in India and became concerned about it in China, and it's probably a direct route from India to Tibet, and so it's not unusual that people are worrying about what is the other-powered nature of space? What is it? What is the problem with positing an other-powered nature of uncompounded space? Yeah, it doesn't arise as manifold cause conditions. And the sutra itself says that other-powered natures are
non-natures in terms of production.
non-natures in terms of production because they are and are not produced by themselves. There's this twofold, there's always two reasons for things being non-natures. It's really crucial to understanding the three natures and how they're the three non-natures. But you went to the important thing. So what do you do with, what's the other-powered nature of space? Now, you've all agreed that every phenomenon has, so to speak, the three natures. Uncompounded space, when you divide it up among the three, is an existent imputational nature, but it must have or be or whatever, and in fact, its imputational nature is not itself, right? This, I perhaps shouldn't show that. The other-powered nature of this is this itself, right? This pen.
So would uncompounded space be or the other power nature be the awareness imputing the imputational nature to it? Well, it is.
Well, some people say, therefore, that it is dumajeki nanka dzimbe tsema, a valid cognition apprehending uncompounded space, because that valid cognition is produced from causes and conditions. That's their fudjab. Now, other people, like as in the Kumru Churki Jungne and Jayasheva, Guntang, Apalutri Gyatso, Jime Tamsha Gyatso, that Gomang tradition, say it's Dumajeki Nanka. Just Dumajeki Nanka. They posit a different meaning to Shenhua. Because the pen is the basis of the imputation of this false imputational nature, and it is the basis of its emptiness, its thoroughly established nature, then the pen is an other-powered nature. Is it a real other-powered nature? You have to say no, but in an important sense, the sutra sets forth that all bases of imputational natures, of this bad imputational nature, and the good, thoroughly established nature are Shenhua, you see? So you stretch it there. That's the point of stretching it, rather than going to, shifting to the consciousness, which I think is more suitable and frankly would reflect the sutra. Does the sutra care about uncompounded space? I've mentioned space 6 times. It is in reaction to the Perfection of Wisdom Sutras that do, well, I'm sure mention, book in Meditation on Emptiness, but mention uncompounded space. But it's not a matter of central concern, because the imputational nature that is of central concern is this important Megyu Gunda, right?
Did space switch from being a metaphor or an illustration to being something to being a phenomenon that
Yes.
people deal with?
Yeah, the other 6, somewhere in one of these books listed the 6 usages, I believe. I don't think I just found out what the 6 are, but listed them. Yes, using it as an illustration and actually getting concerned about it is a different matter. And so the question is it a sloppiness of the sutra? And that's what these Indian, Chinese, and Tibetan, probably Japanese, scholars were worried about.
So, Jeffrey, who is the source of the valid cognition apprehending uncompounded space interpretation?
That's Benjamin, and I don't know if Jitsunba also or not. Probably, most likely.
Is there anything in Tsongkhapa about it?
No. At least I don't think so. Okay. Gelugpas are particularly concerned with the fact that, or with the consequence that, if one person achieved enlightenment, then everybody would achieve enlightenment. They don't want to ever be stuck in that position, because Shakyamuni Buddha was enlightened, and we're not enlightened. We have to practice the path. Therefore, this overall truth that's being understood by an individual consciousness that is equally pervasive with the overall truth, you see, it doesn't leave room. You know, you get into trouble at some point. And that's why they say, Churgu Nyakchik. Nyakchik means the one soul truth body. And, you know, you get into the realm of mystery, put it off into the realm of mystery. And from this point of view, you can see why other systems in Tibet and in East Asia will hold that everything is primordially enlightened from the very start, if there is no start. And so what is enlightenment? It's, you know, what is individual enlightenment, I guess it's tuning in to that enlightenment. It becomes hard to posit if everything's already enlightened, how you get enlightened, or why you practice the path and so forth. But you see why they do that by looking at the problems in the other system. And so the two, that's why I say these systems are usually 2 or 4 or 6 or 8 sides of the coin, you know? And in one way, you can look at it and get involved with the difficulties to the point where enlightenment is impossible with any of the systems. And in another way, it's almost what I do, is I switch to the other system and enlightenment is saved. Or I'm using all of these approaches, but that's my own bias. It's my own perspective. I'm not a nihilist, in case you hadn't noticed. Okay, then?
So how is uncompounded space different from emptiness?
Uncompounded space is an absence, a mere absence of obstructive contact. Emptiness is a mere absence of rangsanto beshenshe rangatsaniki truba.
And uncompounded space can't be that same mere absence.
Yeah, because the gzhan, the object of negation, is different. For uncompounded space, the object of negation is obstructive contact. For emptiness, the object of negation is, establishment as different entities, as subject knowledge, different entities, or establishment.
But uncompounded space is not a different entity from the tape recorder or...
Correct. And its emptiness is not a different entity either.
So they're the same.
Oh, really? Anything that's the same entity as the tape recorder is the tape recorder? The impermanence of the tape recorder is the tape recorder? The tape recorder is the impermanence of the tape recorder?
No.
You see, that's why you get into the vocabulary of no chigla dokwa tade.
Right.
Dokwa means different conceptually isolatable factors or something like that. Isolates, we call them. There's no word that's suitable.
That first thing was great.
There's no, but an easier way to look at it, much easier, is the I don't know, it's probably started being used in Sakya, the small Chikotobotane. Chikakve is the best way to understand it. Different in the sense of negating that they're one. You see? A difference which merely means that they're not one. It's really a much more evocative meaning, even though Mochilo Dovotade is hailed in Gelugpa exegesis as just the most marvelous thing that ever came down the road. It becomes a mysterious, a mysterious term. But actually this is not so mysterious, although how things could be this way is mystery. In the Sanghadammochana Sutra, Buddha says the emptiness of a table and the table are like the odor of a flower and the flower, and the sweetness of honey and the honey. You can see those are very evocative too.
So it's uncompounded space.
Now wait a minute. Get into the example.
Okay.
He's saying they're neither one nor different. It's like the sweetness of honey and honey. They're neither one nor different. So the tradition eventually said what he means by neither different, neither one nor different, means they're not no tade, different entities. When they're one, when he says they're neither one, it means they're dokwa tade or chikakwe tade. Now that's the language that developed. He used merely metaphor in the sutra, which conveys, it's like it takes it beyond language. Your only resort is to something beyond language, to understand the relationship between an object and its emptiness. And that's true, as it is with honey and its taste and uncompounded space and the object. It's true about them too.
But they're still different. Uncompounded space and
Well, different in this sense. In the sutra it said they're neither the same nor different. You see, there's a sooner move to metaphor. This stretches out the conceptualization. I find the top one more helpful than the bottom.
Is the relationship between emptiness and uncompounded space exactly the same relationship as the relationship between emptiness and the table?
Yeah.
It is. Well, the table is established by way of its own character, and uncompounded space is not.
Yes.
But still, same.
That problem is brought up. I gotta go for lunch. So, for next time, it's the next section on Rangitseniki Publ, right? Which we already identified.
Yeah.